What's going on? Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks again for joining us. Today we're going to share with you two things. We're going to share with you how we met and
our first kiss.
So we're going to just talk to you a little bit about that. It was kind of awkward, as you might expect.
I mean, what else would you expect, right?
So, well, I guess it would make more sense to start off like how we met, right? Probably makes sense how we met. So, we met each other when we were, how old were we?
I think that we met each other when we were 20.
20, maybe 20? Yeah, 2010-ish.
2010-ish.
So basically, we went to the same university. We went to Bluffton University. Go Beavers!
Go Beavers.
And, yeah.
The fiercest.
The fiercest of all the animals in the animal kingdom. Anyway.
Very industrious, though.
Yeah, we went to the same university, and we did not really know each other until junior year.
Yeah, we really didn't know each other. Kyle said he had met me, but I didn't realize that he had.
I didn't meet you. I noticed you freshman year because we had I had a class with her freshman year. It was Humanities 1, and it was like Friday, and we were all just trying to get out of there. And the professor goes, "All right, well, if anybody doesn't have any questions, class is over." Hand. I'm sitting here. I talk to the person next to me. I'm like, God, can you believe this girl? And it's Kristin, raising her hand, asking all kinds of questions. I'm sitting there going, oh, nerd. Little did I know, 2 years later.
Was that really how it went?
Yeah.
Like, the class was going to be over?
Yeah, you had to keep asking a bunch of questions about something.
People probably hated me.
She was the questions asker. Anyway.
I did get that award in the social work department, the thinker.
That makes sense. But anyway, we met junior year. We had an opportunity to do this different new type of housing. It's not dorms, it wasn't apartments, it was what's called themed housing.
Themed housing, yes. And so just a little bit about that. There was a floor of guys, a floor of girls, and we got to do some different service projects together, and we all became really good friends and hung out. A good chunk of us. Yeah,
and then I remember distinctly though, we were all getting to know each other. It was 14 of us, 7 and 7, 7 boys, 7 girls. We were all sitting around this table, getting to know each other, and everyone was introducing themselves and this and that. And I remember, Kristin, you introduced yourself. I don't think we all I heard through the grapevine that you were single, and so I was like, that's rare, a junior in college, because it was a small school, and the joke about Bluffton University is, if you come in single, you usually leave with the husband or wife. It's just how it works. So to have a junior that's single still, I was like, oh, all right, maybe we'll see where this goes. And I remember thinking that, because I was like, oh, she's cute, and she's single, so, we'll see.
I thought he was cute too, and there may or may not have been an occasion of times where I lingered a little bit after the meeting in hopes that he might talk to me.
And like a dope, I didn't pick up on it, but anyway, we saw each other in passing a few times. And what's funny is you actually grew up 5 minutes from where I grew up. We never met each other, nothing. But anyway, over the summer, it was back in the old days of Facebook on your desktop computer. That was it. I remember I sat down and I built up the courage to message her on Facebook. I saw she was online. I messaged her, we set up a date, and then she stood me up. Kind of. I told him that I was going to a friend's wedding reception, and that it was going to take a while, and I'd talk to him afterwards. And typically, this is something somewhat typical of Kristin, is I am not always the best judge of time. No, instead of saying no, she said maybe, and then there I was at the concert, all alone. Oh, no. Just kidding. I was the youth group leader in my church. I took all the kids to this concert in the area, and we had fun, but she didn't come, and I'm like, well, I guess this isn't gonna work out after all. And then did I message you, and we scheduled something for the next day. The very next day we went putt-putt golfing, and the rest was history, as they say, but no, it wasn't. Because you tried to get to my house. Yes. And I should have known. I told her how to get to my house. I was waiting outside for our first date to meet her, and right past my house. No big deal. It's kind of tricky. Clear, downtown Gilboa is a little confusing. No, it's not. It's one street. I live in the smallest town in the world anyway. Anyway, we ended up going to this really janky putt-putt golf course.
Yes.
Where it had like, I took her to, it wasn't even finished yet. Like there was no like, it was like all concrete. Like they didn't have the grass on there, and it was like, whatever. We ended up talking, having a great time.
We did.
But anyway, so that's how we met. We met in college, went on our first date, and I knew right then and there. I told my mom. I maybe I didn't say exactly the words, but I knew it was going somewhere just because of how much we talked. I think we talked nonstop the entire time. Go figure, right? Us talking.
Right.
So anyway, fast forward a couple more days, well, weeks maybe, a few more dates, and that's where the first kiss story comes in.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if this happened before or after the kiss, but I did tell Kyle fairly early on that I loved him, and I maybe made a card. Or
The second date, maybe? No, it was date 3. It wasn't any longer than date. I mean, it was date 3, at least. Maybe like, I want to say 2 weeks into our relationship.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all right.
I mean, I must have knew that he was pretty special, so.
I remember distinctly we were sitting in my backyard talking, and did you say something like, I think I might love you? Or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I love you too. I did, but it was weird that you said it so early. It didn't matter.
Yeah,
it worked out in the end. But anyway, the first kiss story. So we were watching a movie in my parents' house because I was in college and summer break, and we were watching Kung Fu Panda. Remember that? Kung Fu Panda. And I did the old, we were sitting on the couch, I did the old, and we held hands for the first time that night.
Very special.
And then when the whole thing was over, you went home, and I was just real nervous, because it was like date 2, maybe. It was date 2. We'd been talking. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. It was early on, but we had been talking, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it. And I, instead of going in for a kiss, I asked you if I could kiss you.
Which actually probably worked out pretty good because I might not have known what to do.
Okay, think about, if retrospect, if I just would have went in for a kiss, it could have been really awkward.
Yes.
So at least I asked. I'm like, hey, can I steal a kiss?
Yeah, I'm remembering this a little bit more now. We were talking to Kyle a little bit earlier on this, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I remember exactly when that happened.
Yeah, it was then. And then it just, everything kind of just came together from there. But the funniest part was you not being able to find my house.
Yes, that went on
the
for a
third
couple
time.
For dates,
every time for the first 3 or 4 dates, she blew right by my house. Couldn't find my house.
What can I say? What can I say?
Oh, one of the other, it was a couple weeks into our relationship. Remember you and your family went to South Carolina or something?
I think it was a month into our relationship.
Anyway, they got back at midnight. It had been a week since we seen each other because we were gone for a whole week.
Yeah.
You got back at midnight and came over to see me. And if you know anything about Kristin, she doesn't stay up much past 9:30. So that was the old Kristin, back when she stayed up late sometimes.
Sometimes back in the old day, I would be up doing my homework we had a study room, and you could often find me asleep in there around 10.
Yeah, she'd fall asleep while studying.
Yeah. Kyle sometimes would come get me and be like, hey, go to bed. But anyway, yes, so that night I did stay up pretty late, and we were talking, and I believe Kyle gave me a stuffed Eeyore.
A stuffed Eeyore, yes.
And I think around that time I sang to you.
Yes, yeah, you did. You showed me, she was like, hey, I would like to sing you a song. I'm like, that's okay, you don't gotta do it right now. I don't want to put you on the spot. I know I can really sing. I'm like, oh, I figured maybe she's okay. But then when you sang, I was like, oh my God, you can actually sing. Holy smokes. But you've heard Kristin sing. If you haven't, then just stay tuned because there's more vlogs she'll sing. But anyway, it's just one of those things where when you know kind of thing, and that was one of those things where I felt like I just knew. I knew because I felt like I could be 100% myself around you from day one.
Right.
But I do remember I remember this distinctly. It was July 10th of 2010. We were sitting on your porch.
Yes.
And we were talking, and I asked, what did I do? What did I say? I said something like, do you want to be my girlfriend? Something like that.
It came off smoother than that.
Maybe. I'm not very smooth.
if you imagine probably how nervous Kyle was, I was probably like 2 times more nervous.
Well, we talked about every possible, like we talked before we even were in a relationship. I remember we talked about like how we were going to communicate with each other and this and that, because we had both been in high school relationships before that and had bad experiences and just the immature stuff that comes with being in a high school relationship. And we weren't both in the business of playing any games. So we're like, hey, you know, we want to be boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever. We kind of talked about like, yeah, well, you know, we'll make sure that we all, you know, put our, that, because that doesn't, you know, we can't like, just because we're gonna be, you know, dating doesn't mean we can like forget our other friends, and like we really talked everything out. And I think that was from day one, minute one, the strong foundation of like, okay, we're not here to play any games. Oh, I remember telling you, I always say what I mean and mean what I say. I was like, don't ever like assume that like something that I said was, oh, what did he mean by that? I don't mean anything by anything. I say what I mean. I mean what I say.
Isn't that like, I feel like that's a quote from somebody.
Maybe.
But it's true. It's pretty well been true, and that's something that Kyle always keeps reminding me is that he'll tell me if he's upset. So
you don't have to guess. I'll say,
yeah,
you don't have to guess if I'm upset. You'll know if I'm upset, but hopefully it will come off in the appropriate way.
Yeah,
but you know, it's just like, yeah, like you know, it wasn't one of those things where things weren't really ever hard for us as far as like between you and me. We always had outside forces or things, we've been through hard times, but the thing that's kept us going so strong is like our connection, and we always are like honest with each other.
Yeah, I was just gonna say honesty. Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, from the first date we were on, it was just felt right. So I think the moral of the story, I guess, is if you're in a relationship and you had to feel like, because the relationship that I was in high school, I felt like I had to be somebody else. I felt like I can't say these things around her. I can't act this way around her. I have to be a certain way, and that nobody wins.
No.
The person you're dating doesn't win. You don't win. So if you're, you know, if you're not in a relationship where you can fully be yourself, you're not doing yourself any favors.
I would agree. And Kyle made me feel very special and taken care of. Like I really didn't have any other serious relationships. I had a couple short little flings. But yes, Kyle always made me feel really special. Especially in the early days, we did a nice job with cards and gifts and stuff like that. And this year, for it's November, but we're thinking towards Christmas. We're thinking about making each other something.
We're gonna make each other something because we feel like we just want to make, we're trying to be minimalists now, and so we're like, we don't need to get each other things, so let's make something unique that you can't buy in the store.
Yes.
But anyway, we wanted to share with you how we met in a quick little first kiss story kind of thing, some funny moments from the beginning of our relationship, and just get to know us a little bit better, that kind of thing. So, love you guys. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to check out Kristin's channel. There's going to be new videos going up this week for her. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, her channel. So, we love you guys. Thanks for watching. Find your gift.
Share it with the world.
And remember,
you are worth it.
See you tomorrow.